What's up YouTube, this is Suena, and today I'm coming at you with a Dark Magician deck profile. Hopefully I'm going to make this a little bit faster than my last bigger deck profile, which was my Quasar deck profile. But anyway, let's just jump right into it. So for the Dark Magician deck profile, you want to, for the Dark Magician deck, you always want to have 3 of the Dark Magician. He is pretty much your main card that you need to get out no matter what, or otherwise you probably won't have a good of a chance to play. Next, I'll just overlay him. Next you play, what I play is 3 of Magician Dark Illusion. When you activate a spell card, okay, his effect is when you activate a spell or trap card during your opponent's turn, you can special summon him from your hand. And his other effect is when you activate a spell or trap card, while this card is face up on the field, you can special summon a Dark Magician from your graveyard, which actually helps you so you can go into your rank 7 plays a lot more, which can help you get number 11 or whatever. Anyway, continuing on. So those are the 7s for the deck. Next we got Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer. Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer helps against pretty much any deck that wants to banish, such as well, some decks like Paleozoic, they can banish some of their trap cards. Blue Eyes, definitely. And there's a few other cards, because you don't want your opponent banishing any of your cards or any of their cards, because they cannot remove cards from play. Also, you can remove up to 2 monsters from their graveyard when this card inflicts battle damage to your opponent. Next, for the 3-Os, play 3 Magician's Rod. What I've been doing was I've been playtesting with Magician's Robe. I don't like it that much, so that's why I'm not even just gonna worry about Magician's Robe. But with Magician's Rod, when you normal summon it, you can add a spell or trap card that specifically lists Dark Magician in its text. So Dark Magical Circle or Eternal Soul, pretty much anything that has Dark Magician in its text, you can add to from your deck to your hand. Next, I play 2 of Ghost Reaper and Winter Cherries for targets. I do main it. The reason being is because I can actually go into some of the rank 3s that I do run, which does kind of help, especially for one of the monsters called like everybody just calls him Grand Pulse, but he's like a super quantum thing. Can't remember his actual name. And then because of the format, 2 max C, really good in this format. Everybody likes special summoning. So against like BA, Burning Abyss, you can drop max C on their activation, which their activation of their effects to special summon it from the hand activates in the hand, so you can chain max C to their effect, so that way you can draw a card and then everything else. Next, for the spell cards, you play 3 of Dark Magical Circle. When this card is activated, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, grab any Dark Magician, just the regular vanilla Dark Magician, not Magician Dark Illusion, because Magician Dark Illusion is only treated as Dark Magician when it's on the field. So when you activate Dark Magic Circle, reveal get the top 3, look at them, grab any spell trap that specifically lists Dark Magician in its text, or add a Dark Magician from there as well to your hand. So also, not only that, but when you normal or special summon a Dark Magician, you can you can banish 1 card your opponent controls. Then for draw power, I got Allure Darkness, Pot of D. To get my Dark Magicians in my hand, or in anybody's hand really, is Magicians of Dark Illusion. Illusion Magic, sorry. not Magician Dark Illusion. That's the monster. So, with Illusion Magic, you can tribute a spellcaster like Magician's Rod or Kaiku the Ghost Destroyer, or if you get out Magician Dark Illusion, or even another Dark Magician. You can tribute either one of the spellcasters that you control, and you can add up to 2 Dark Magicians from your deck or graveyard. So if you tribute a Dark Magician, you can add the one from your graveyard and one from your deck. Or if you do Rod, tribute the Rod, get 2 Dark Magicians. Same thing with any of these, really. So I run 2 of that. Then for the 1-ofs, I got Dark Magic Attack for the other search off of Eternal Soul. Dark Magic Inheritance. This card has actually saved me quite often because I've always had no magical circle on the field, and I always needed it, and I didn't have a Magician's Rod. So I would activate this if I had 2 other spell traps in my grave. I would activate this card, and I can add a spell trap that specifically lists Dark Magician from deck to hand. And then the last one of is Upstart Goblin. Onto the traps. I'm playing 3 Magician's Navigation. With Magician's Navigation, if you have a Dark Magician in your hand, you can special summon it, and then a level 7 or lower Dark Spellcaster type monster from your deck. And except for the turn this card is sent to the grave, you can banish this card, and if your opponent has a face-up spell trap, you can activate this, banish it, and negate their spell or trap. So if they have Raigeki and this is in your grave, and you also have a Dark Magician on the field, you can activate Navigation and negate the Raigeki. Same thing with Dark Hole, or pretty much almost everything except for counter traps. And you can stop your opponent from doing harm to your deck with it as well, as long as you have a Dark Magician on your field. Next, you have 3 Eternal Soul. It's a must-have in the deck. For every Dark Magician in your monster zone, they're unaffected by your opponent's card effects. So if they go to Raigeki, it doesn't work. If they Dark Hole, it does not work. If they target they won't be able to target or do pretty much anything to your Dark Magicians except for trying to get rid of Eternal Soul. Because if they don't have any spell trap removal, well, they're screwed for a while until they do. So you can special summon a Dark Magician from your hand or graveyard, and the other effect is add a Dark Magic Attack or 1,000 Knives from your deck to your hand. Then I play 2 Drowning Mirror Force, then 2 Strike, 1 Warning, 1 Dimensional Barrier, 1 Floodgate, 1 Starlight Road. So for the Dimensional Barrier, this is actually a weird kind of tech for this deck, especially if you declare XCs, because even though you don't really summon any monsters during your turn except for maybe Dark Magician or Magician Dark Illusion, but it just can stun your opponent for the turn, and it really does help, especially if you don't want them to get their board set up. Let's go on to the extra side deck real quick. I have for the Cherries targets, have Master of Darklaw and Totally Awesome. 2 DD Crow for the regular extra deck. DD Crow can help you stop your opponent from targeting cards with like Dante for the Burning Abyss, or just returning Blue Eyes in the Blue Eyes deck. So pretty much anything that they want to get back, you can stop them from getting it with DD Crow by discarding this card, targeting a card they want that they are going to probably get, and then you can banish that card instead. so they won't get it. Next, I play 2 Book of Eclipse. Pot of I keep saying Avarice. It's not. I meant to say Avidity. It's also known as Acquisitiveness. Target 3 monsters, 3 banished monsters. Shuffle all 3 back into the deck, and then draw a card. Pretty much, if you banish any of your good monsters off of Allure Darkness, or if your opponent's playing BA, you want that extra draw. Or PK Fire, really. Anything that they banish, you can send it back and then draw a card. For the monsters, at least. Next, I play Deck Dev, Typhoon, Eradicator. With Deck Dev, it's tribute a monster with 2,000 or more attack, and you can check all cards your opponent controls, well, all monsters and their hand. If there's any that have 15 or less, they're destroyed. For Eradicator, you choose Spell or Traps, and so for both of the viruses, they last for about 3 turns. So you activate this during their turn. That's 1 turn. Then your turn is 2, and then I don't think it's every time your opponent. Yeah, after the 3rd turn, this card's activated, so it'd be you, me, you. Then Typhoon for an MST, pretty much. Then I play 2 D-Barrier just in case. If I can't ever go into the one in the main, I end up going to these 2. Siding into these 2, or just one of them, for like any fusion decks or whatever. Then I play another Floodgate, Vanities, and a Quaking Mirror Force. Next, and last but not least, the extra deck. So for the Cherries targets, I have ABC Buster Dragon, Blue Eyes, Spirit Dragon, and Dante Traveler. So these are for Cherries. You can also go into Dante if you need to, for the defense, really. Then for the other 3s, you have Super Quantum Mech Beast Grand Pulse. He can destroy a spell or trap card your opponent controls by detaching. Number 47, detach, target itself, attack directly for 2,000. It does help, especially if your opponent has an annoying much that you can't get over, or you have no other outs to right now. Then you have, now for the rank 7s, I have Ebon High Magician. I don't really go into this guy that often, but when I do, it's to activate a quick play or a trap card from my hand during my opponent's turn by detaching an Xyz material. It was destroyed. If this Xyz summon card is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, or if this Xyz summon card you control is sent to your graveyard by opponent's card effect. So by battle or by card effect, when it's sent to the grave, you can special summon a Dark Spellcaster, or so pretty much another Dark Magician, or a new Dark Magician, or any Dark Spellcaster from your deck to your hand. From your deck or hand to the field, so you special summon it. And then you play 2 Ebon Illusion Magician. Pretty much detach, special summon a Dark Magician from your deck or hand, and then when your opponent, when you declare an attack with a vanilla spellcaster, vanilla meaning a normal monster, you can activate his other effect and banish 1 card they control. So if you attack with Dark Magician, so say you attack, if you attack with Dark Magician, Ebon Illusion you chain the attack with L1 Illusion, banish the attack target, and then redirect attack, which does come in handy quite often, or pretty much any card that you need to get rid of. Then I have 2 Big Eye for problematic cards like Utopia F-Zero. That card is really annoying against this deck, especially when he takes your monster. So you want to take their monster instead, especially if you can't really, or you don't really have the means to get over it. So just Big Eye your opponent's monster, and then there you go. Another 7 is Gaia Dragon Thunder Charger. Piercing damage against like a marshmallow or something that doesn't want to be destroyed. 74. I've been meaning to switch out 74 for what's it called? Mega Fan of Beast Dracosack. But he's alright, especially if your opponent were to target this card and only this card, you can negate and destroy it, and then destroy one other card on the field as well, because it has to target this card. You can detach, negate, and yeah, so pretty much negate and then you destroy 2 of their cards. Then 2 Red Eyes Flare Metal Dragon. So what ended up happening with Flare Metal Dragon, unfortunately, obviously I don't run any Red Eyes Black Dragon, but this is for the burn damage. If I can't get my opponent down to 0 within 1 turn, which you actually can with this deck, you can do 7,500 in one go if you haven't normal summoned yet. If you have normal summon, you can do 7,500. If you haven't, you can do a total of 8,000. But what ends up happening is you end up having to go into Flare Metal to do pretty much just stops your opponent from doing pretty much anything, because when your opponent tries to activate anything after it resolves immediately, inflict 500 points of damage to your opponent for game, pretty much. If they ever activate anything, just say you're just gonna take that 500. I actually went and trolled with a couple of my friends with this card last tournament. And then finally, Stardust Dragon for that Starlight Road. Well, that has been that's been my deck profile for Dark Magician. I don't really have much else to say for this for the meantime, but if you guys liked the video, if you guys have any suggestions of what I should change for the deck or whatever, just hit that thumbs button, subscribe, and then leave it down in the comments below any suggestions that you guys want to give me, or any tips that you also suggest for the either the next format or this format. So it's been real, guys. Hope you guys had a good day, and this is Suena signing off.